I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. Video games were my friends. Television, cartoons, my toys, these were my friends. Later, books became my friends, and diving into them and that endless world of literature is what led me to English as a major, as for many years a profession and career. My father would sometimes come in and offer a catchphrase to me that probably wasn't the best. He would see me playing Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Brothers, whatever it was, Magic the Gathering in high school, sitting and sorting through my cards. He'd stand in the doorway and watch me for a few minutes anyway, and say, "So this is what you want to do with your life, huh?" And that is something that I don't think was fair, but in answer to his question now, yes, it is something I want to do with my life, and I'm thankful that I can do this with my life. I don't consider this my YouTube channel, not really. It's your YouTube channel, and I know that's schmaltzy and sentimental, yada, 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 but it is. It's the Tolarian Community College, the Tolarian Community Channel, and I am the steward of it. It has been put in my care, but I'm in service to all of you, what you view, what you say. I do read all the comments, and I do put a heavy weight even on some of the most trollish ones, because it is a charge that I am honored to keep, and one I take seriously. It is your YouTube channel as much as it is mine, but I want to talk about what is my community. Back before my channel was even 2 years old, Wizards of the Coast held an event that turned out to be the last of its kind. It was called the Community Cup. This is something they had done for, I believe, at or over 10 years, where many members of the community were invited up to Wizards of the Coast to get a tour, to play some Magic and have that streamed or broadcast, build some silly decks, have a good time, and basically be thanked for their representation and efforts in the community, and also as a bit of a PR stunt. Now, I actually never was a part of any Community Cup, let alone the final one. And yeah, it ended when my channel was still up and coming. I was approaching 2 years, as I said, and it wasn't until after the 2-year mark that Wizards of the Coast even acknowledged that I existed. For those of you who haven't been around since the beginning, for the first 2 years of my channel, I was a pariah. I was not someone that the mothership would even acknowledge existed, because my channel, when you strip everything else away from it, is essentially a channel of critique, of critical reviews, and those critical reviews oftentimes say to potential customers, "Don't buy this product. This product is bad." In many videos, I say this decision is bad, is a huge, colossal failure and mistake. And so why would a corporation want to in any way acknowledge that a YouTube channel like that existed? Well, I eventually grew to be a size that they couldn't ignore me, but that's another story. What is so memorable about that cup to me is who was a part of it. Pretty much, literally, all of my friends today of fellow content creators in Magic. I felt like the people who were invited to that last Community Cup were my generation of content creators, if that makes sense. Finally, a Community Cup for my generation. But that's how I looked at it. It was everybody that I not only loved and admired, but had started creating content at around the same time as myself. And so I viewed them not only as friends, but as comrades in arms in this weird business that we call MTG content creation. It was Megan and Maria from Magic the Amateuring, Wedge from the Mana Source. Doc, you don't see him stream as much these days because he's a huge, successful lawyer, but back then, when he was an incredible regular streamer, and we still see him from time to time, and I hope he returns to us soon. And Kenji, who's today probably one of the most popular Magic the Gathering streamers. Well, he was back then too. I guess that's why he got invited. And Jimmy from the Command Zone, which was years before game nights, but he was there as well. Loading Ready Run was in charge of production, so they were on site and heavily involved in participating on the opposite end of the table, as it were. If there was ever a group of people that I wanted to be trapped in a room with for the weekend, that I would want to be in the presence of, that was the list of them. It was a great list. And actually, on that first day, when they got off the plane, Megan and Maria tweeted out a photo of themselves wearing my t-shirt. And I was actually really struck by this. It was before we were good friends, before they were on my channel. I produced their video podcast on my channel for some years, and this was before any of that. But they got off that plane wearing my t-shirt, and it was like a part of me was there because of that. And I got very emotional over that gesture. It was a very kind gesture. You know, when I look at their role in the community today, Maria is on coverage regularly, doing amazing work. Megan is writing for the mothership. They've grown into such pillars of this community. And there they were back then. Them wanting to talk to me at GP Vegas was an amazing event. The honor that I felt in being able to produce their video podcast. I mean, they were without video initially, and I was like, let's come on the channel with you, and I want to learn how to produce a podcast like this and get the camera equipment and learn about the audio syncing and all of this stuff. And a lot of the programs that I have on Tolarian Community College today are directly a result of that time that I spent cutting my teeth, learning how to do more advanced productions than ones like I had done up until that point. In response, Tolarian Tutor, at the Multiverse, all collaborative efforts, by the way, but all productions that are employing a very different style of video. I attribute all of that to being able to grow as a creator in working with people like Magic the Amateuring. Jimmy, who, as we know, is real world famous, is someone who will still talk to me and answer my DMs because of the community, because of Magic the Gathering. And he loves that game so much that he's willing to talk to a nobody like myself. When I was first on his podcast, the very first time I was on, and I remember it so well, I didn't believe that they knew who I was. So I thought that they were just having a guest of the week, and I was so shocked when they started referring to specific instances of my videos. And I was like, wow, you actually watch my videos, you guys? I couldn't get my head around it. In some ways, I still can't. And Josh, while he wasn't invited to that particular community cup, is such a brother to me at this point, a big brother. I respect the hell out of him. He works in the industry. He cut the Star Wars trailer. He cut the trailer for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He is a heavy. He is a pro. And what he wants to do is leave that behind to make videos about Magic. Josh is someone that I emulate too. I really look at who and how he is, not just as a creator, where obviously his skill and talent is astonishingly far beyond my own, but just as a man. He's a really great guy in particular. And I look at a lot of how he behaves and interacts in this world in the times that I've been with him. And I just think that's the way to do it. I kind of copy that. I'm like that with a lot of people. With all of these people, I look at how they are and how they act, and I see the ways in which I myself can be and do better. I've always been like that. It's something that caused some friends of mine, former friends now actually, it's been one of those years, but some people that I've known in my life to say that I'm a phony, that I'm just copying people, that I start taking phrases that people say and using them myself, or other people's favorite foods become my own. But along with that, other people's characteristics, their strengths, what they do well, is something that I not only admire, but do. take as my own, do emulate. Josh is one of those people for sure. And at that Community Cup, representing YouTube was really Wedge at the Manosaurus. At the time, he had more subscribers than me, and now I have a lot more than him. It's something I joke about when we're in person at a GP. I always introduce him as, and this is the #2 biggest Magic the Gathering YouTube channel. But what people don't realize is that the joke there to me isn't on Wedge, but it's on myself, because I think that it's absurd, comical, laughable, that I should have more subs than him. He taught me everything in those early days. I remember when he first reached out to me just to say, hey, your videos are really good. I like what you're doing. I couldn't believe it. You know, he was 10 times my size at that point. He's the person who named me the professor. I never had a name. And then he referred to me in one video and said, what should I call you? And I said, I don't care. And he just said the professor. And I was like, yeah, that's me. The amount that this guy knows about YouTube and shared with me, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. He's been my mentor. He's been my advisor. And more than anything, he's been my friend. And he's having some problems too right now. And I hope he comes back to us. One of the videos that really started to get my attention with the larger Magic the Gathering community was when I started working with Christine Sprankle and Ashlyn Rose and took their amazing cosplay and was able to use it to try and create funny skits about Magic the Gathering lore, which again, while I was critiquing in those storylines, was also something that I love and have nothing but the strongest affection for. Being able to present them who had only been at conventions and GPs in costume to a wider audience was, again, such an honor and a privilege. Oh, and I had Jimmy on as Jace and Graham as Garrick. God, those were good times. I was up in Victoria for the pre-release filming the skit with Graham. I was just speechless working with someone who I wouldn't have ever started a YouTube channel if it wasn't for his. Is this a self-indulgent video? Me just reminiscing about all the cool people that I've had on my channel? Yeah, screw it. It's Thanksgiving, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that I had each and every one of them and more on my channel. Every year when I do my anniversary celebration video, I always make sure to include a clip of every single person who's guested that year, because I'm showing off that I got people like Megan and Maria and Wedge and Graham and Josh and Jimmy on my channel. That to me is the accomplishment more than anything I personally do. I play a pretentious character for comedic effect because for me, that's the joke. The joke is me. And the idea that I would be so self-important when actually it's simply these other people and their work that shines so brightly. Because in the end, in this world, that's what really matters, right? It's other people. It's the people whose lives we touch and who touch our own. Whether you're a content creator like myself or other artists, or just someone working as a waitress or an engineer or a doctor or a radio technician, I don't know. Whatever it isn't that job that comes with you. It's the people and the memories that you share with them that carry us through. I've always said it isn't magic, but the people you meet. I've got some stories about that as well that I'll share someday. But for now, I am thankful for all I've done with these members of our community. And I'm thankful for all of you for allowing me to be that steward to bring it to you. And I have a lot more that's coming in the next year. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.